Please welcome to our program someone who is, if you're watching on Twitch, you can see she cuts a remarkable figure. She is in incredible shape. She has been training in a discipline called Muay Thai and has been training and fighting in Thailand and Canada. What does that mean? Ripped runner, calisthenics athlete, and the first Canadian female to fight Muay Thai in China. Please say hello to Angelina. Blessed, everybody!
Hi, everybody.
Everyone is intimidated by... Well, we'll get to edibles and how we make that connection, but talk to us about your athleticism and what exactly Muay Thai is.
Muay Thai is Thailand's national sport. It is the science of 8 limbs, so it's kicks, punches, knees, and elbows. So it's basically like a kickboxing, but with elbows and knee strikes.
And how is that different than Taekwondo?
Besides completely?
Besides, yeah. I don't know. I mean, because kicking and punching.
Kicking and punching, I think Taekwondo, I'm really not sure if it's more of a point system and no head strikes possibly, or it's very different.
So do you enjoy when people are trying to punch you in the face and things and kick you? And because most of us don't.
I would say that it's an extremely difficult thing to do, but with a lot of practice and a lot of experience, it is absolutely the most fun thing that I do.
That's what I admire, people like you who choose a discipline like that, because it's a lot of work. It's diet, it's staying in shape, it's getting abused. Like what flips that switch that you want not only try it but make it your life, so to speak?
It definitely wasn't the path. It wasn't how I started. It was just looking for something for myself to do that was going to be a bit more of a time occupier than partying or going out or anything like that. And I had a lot of energy to burn. So I started running. The running aspect wasn't quite enough. And then I ended up at a gym and I met someone named Ajahn Suchart. And he was the person that brought Muay Thai to North America about 30 years ago. Wow. So went through a breakup and ended up in Thailand, having not traveled at all, and ended up at a gym called, it's the original CM #1. It's called Wat San Thai now, and had to just keep up with the Thai boys and figure out the kilometer runs and not speaking any of the language. So it was a whole transitional period
I mean, it sounds to me like it's almost like a movie.
Yeah.
You know, a young girl from Canada goes to Thailand, trains at the original, ground zero, if you will, of this discipline, and you go and you end up fighting in Thailand. How unusual. Give us some perspective if you can.
Well, that was my first fight in Thailand was in 2006. So back then, was that just first post-tsunami sort of time? Wi-Fi was not abundant at all. So it was it was a difficult time to kind of do it.
But it wasn't a difficult time just as a woman competing in that sport?
Definitely one of the few that were doing it at that time.
And got to be one of the few North American women.
Absolutely. Yeah. There weren't any other females at my gym at the time, and definitely the only foreigner female.
And in the early stages, you get your ass kicked, don't you? Are there head blows?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I saw you grabbed your arm because I've been hit.
I'm quite sore today, actually. But head kicks and brain injury was one of the big things, and that's kind of the reason that I ended up here. It's multiple concussions. My second last fight, I broke my orbital bone.
Oh my God!
By taking an elbow strike to the face.
Are you not wearing any kind of?
Absolutely no. I guess that would be a difference between Taekwondo, where they're wearing head protection and feet protection. Where when you're fighting professionally in Thailand, you're wearing 8-ounce gloves and a mouth guard. That's
wow.
It. Yeah.
If I'm watching even a hockey game and one hockey player punches another guy in the head, it makes me feel ill. What's it like to take your elbow and smash another human being in the head?
What's it like?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between giving an elbow and receiving an elbow.
Right.
Yes.
You gotta give it before you get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I tried to once elbow myself in the orbital side. Kept trying.
No, but
with no luck.
That's something to do that.
It's scary and extremely rewarding at the same time.
So, do you have a belt level in Muay Thai?
There isn't. It's basically they'll keep you at an amateur level until you're ready to fight professionally. When I was doing it, when I was fighting more regularly, there weren't legal Muay Thai fights in Canada. So that's why I would go to Thailand every winter and fight there.
Good for you.
So what is it? Is like I was in Mexico in the winter, and the wrestling thing is huge there. Is that what it's like? The big arenas and everybody's yelling and screaming.
The arenas in Thailand are like nothing I've ever seen, and the energy of it is so incredible. The betting is a really big thing. So you've kind of got the foreigners that come to Thailand to kind of see the Muay Thai fights that are all around in the VIP seats, and then the Thais that are there for the gambling and for the love of the sport.
Sure.
But the
so
sounds
gambling right in the stand.
Oh, the gambling is incredible, and they've got all sorts of hand motions and signals that they're doing to bet higher and throw more money.
Could you, as a fighter, make some money in Thailand doing this?
You do get paid for professional fights there. It wouldn't be the same as. Well, you do get paid professionally there, but it's still like say $200 American as opposed
but
to
the cost of living there is a lot cheaper, right?
Oh, so cheap.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you. It's amazing, and if I don't know even how to say this anymore in this 2019 because we're not supposed to see gender.
Right.
But I can say, if I may, you have managed to train, and you're in great shape, and you still have a very feminine. You know what I'm saying? Can anyone fill in some words that are appropriate?
I'm super hard, but I'm a super softy inside, and I think that kind of translates.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Thank you. No, but you know what I mean? Like, because sometimes you'll see people, men and women, but women in this particular case, where you train a certain way and you start to sort of lose some of your actual feminine aspect, but you haven't, it seems to me.
I think that's honestly something that kind of cannabis has helped with, because...
good segue to cannabis.
Bring that up.
Yes, that old thing.
I really felt my whole training was go harder, go faster, don't stop, don't take a day off. And
like your training.
And that wasn't, that's not the best way to kind of go about it. So I had to learn with rest and recovery and taking a little bit of relaxation for myself. I was able to go back to the gym and totally kill it the next day.
And that's where the story of Blessed Edibles would begin. So you started to avail yourself of some of the therapeutic aspects.
My cortisol levels were shot. I had a few concussions. I just was going to the gym. There was feeling a lot of pain. I would try harder. I would go more. I would maybe take a day off and then go back, and it just wasn't really cutting it. So between that and finding Float Toronto, the sensory deprivation tank, it's been a really good recovery journey for myself.
So concussions, obviously, we know how damaging, severe they can be now. How does cannabis help with a concussion?
My last concussion was received from somebody that I was sparring with. It was kind of a big guy, and he hit me with an uppercut that took me off my feet.
Wow.
I took a knee for a second. I got back up, and I continued another 2 rounds with him. About 30 minutes later, the room started spinning, and I was throwing up. I went directly to the hospital because I couldn't touch my finger to my nose, and I couldn't speak very well. But so when I got to the hospital, they offered me all sorts of painkillers, and that wasn't the route that I wanted to do.
Was that in Thailand or here?
That was in Toronto.
Okay.
Yes. So I went to the hospital and just didn't want to go that route. Even though they offered me kind of anything that I wanted.
Right.
So I went home and I took a high dose of CBD and I took a high dose of THC and just gave myself the rest that I needed to really kind of shut it down.
So, and like a lot of people who sort of stumbled into the world of edibles and cannabis and THC and dosing, what do we want to, so what is Blessed Edibles? Is it a company you've started? Is it you selling edibles now once they become legal in October?
We will be selling edibles. We are not selling any edibles right now. Everything is purely research and development.
Right.
And what we are planning on doing is, we are the first athletic recovery company, and we just want to believe in good low-dose edibles that will help the new mainstream of the people that will be coming into the market.
Now, we spoke to a gentleman earlier on the show from Tinley Beverages, and what they're doing, like a lot of companies, trying to dose the marijuana or THC into beverages.
Right.
But the dosing is the hard part, because as we said, I've done edibles, it's the uncertainty of, is this enough? Is this too much? Am I going to get too high? But it's that micro-dosing that's
It is going to be about the micro-dosing. Now, for myself, I know what my milligram dosage is, but that's through years of kind of experimentation with myself.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Jess, that's with me here today, she brought me to Montreal for I microdosed a group of yoga students. And now my milligram dose is very different, but we thought we would try a 3 milligram dosage. And I didn't really think that would have much of an effect, but it actually did on people that hadn't had any experience with cannabis before.
Right.
And you talk about healthy edibles, or it says here healthy edibles, so gummy bears wouldn't be part of the...
No. As much as I would like them to be.
Well, I know, but
Do you like
so
it
no
involves the coconut and things?
Yeah.
We try to go high fat, low sugar. That's the kind of diet that I kind of go by, and that will adding more sugar to the body is only going to add more inflammation. So we're just trying to counteract anything like that.
That's interesting that you talked about inflammation, because a few years ago I stopped drinking alcohol, and one of the things that I wanted to see is and I was way overweight, but I was really felt inflamed. And I mean that. Like, I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot for a few months and see if it makes any difference.
Right.
And I lost so much weight so quickly.
Really?
Because all of a sudden I'm not drinking thousands of calories of
sugar
wine
and-
every day.
Right.
But there's something to that. The idea that your body goes through these stages of inflammation now, and you're saying that cannabis edibles can actually help bring that down.
Well, I'm not a scientist, and I only know what has been working for myself, and I know that the pain in my body is definitely it's lessened quite a bit.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, what you're saying is keep the sugar out of the edibles. Why would you want to add that if
Well,
it's
yeah,
actually
absolutely.
trying to help the
Absolutely.
original problem?
So
right?
Blessed Edibles is the company, and come this fall, we're going to be hearing all kinds of things about you guys.
sorts of great
well,
things.
you know, and again, we in this immature country of ours, we do things in stages, and you know, like we were talking yesterday, they finally opened a second dispensary that's legal. It's like, you know, how many times have we had this conversation? They had all these dispensaries, everyone was fine, you could get it anywhere. And then, of course, the government gets involved, and now it's like, well, in Ontario.
Definitely needs to be regulated. I don't think it's a really bad thing that we're kind of slowly opening the doors for it. I think it could have been a little bit of mayhem if we just kind of like opened all the doors and let everything kind of come crashing in. And maybe that would have been a great idea, direction to kind of do it. But I think that if we just flooded the market with edibles, I think if we flooded the market with all the cannabis, it'll take a little bit of time for everybody to kind of sort themselves out and figure out their dosage and
Sure.
what they want to do, and make sure that the products on the market are of great quality.
Yeah, you just wonder how long it'll take. That's all.
I think everything will really change once people are a lot more comfortable with it. But we don't want the 100 milligram edibles on the market
No.
as of yet.
Where do people find out more about Blessed Edibles?
You can find us at blessededibles.com. You could find us at
See, I told you you were going to do that, didn't I? Even though I told you.
I'm on top of the microphone.
I know you
right now.
are. Blessededibles.com.
Yes, at Blessed Edibles on Instagram as well.
Yeah, I've been to, I haven't told him this, but I've been to Float, I don't know, multiple times over the last year or so. They came in here a few years ago when they opened up on Queen Street, the sensory deprivation tank.
They're my favorite
Remember those
humans.
guys?
Yes.
Yes.
And they were so nice. They gave me a couple of credits, and I forgot I even had it. And then about, I don't know, I guess a couple months ago, I went by myself, because my back from my little sport of golf is always in some state of inflammation.
Okay.
And just floating like that for an hour, you know, when you had your back problems, you know, that just the feeling of not having any pressure. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable what that
It's
does
just like
to
going back to the womb. You're also infusing yourself with like so much magnesium because of the 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt that are in each one. So while it's heated to the same temperature as your body, if you find your stillness in there in the dark, it's the closest to being like at weightlessness or going
it
back
really
to the
was.
womb.
Well,
Yeah.
how does somebody like you, how do you ever just feel good? Isn't there always something bothering you? Like...
Isn't there always something bothering everybody?
But I mean,
like, okay, so
it's
sitting here,
it's a
like,
different dimension for
my
you.
wrists are bruised. I took a couple of
I guess.
kicks to the body yesterday. I ran 12 kilometers yesterday.
Yeah.
But I'm happy, you know, like I'm going through a lot right now, but like there's soreness in my body, but I got to beat up some boys at the gym last night and that was incredible.
Speaking
Wow.
of which, last question, maybe not, but one of the questions. So if Mr. Fred and I, like, how quickly would you dispense of us? I mean, like, what would it just be like? Would it be like? No, I mean, I'm serious. Like,
I could take her. She's a woman.
Oh, please stand up.
Wait a second. Wait a second. I thought you were a woman.
Oh my
Hey, he
god.
says that because he's a super feminist.
Come on.
Not I don't know, 3 seconds each, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 seconds.
Yeah.
Three.
2 strikes. Yeah.
Would I have? Would I be up here doing some of this stuff here? When
You can put your hands up, but I'd still knee you in the stomach pretty quickly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would that be the first strike, or you'd go for the head, or you'd go for the body?
Depends how you came at me, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, with that kind of attitude,
I'd probably come at you with a donut in my hand. What would you do?
that's right. You'd have a Tim's. I'll get
How did you
Muay
know
Thai.
I love donuts? Yeah.
You'd come over, Muay Thai this, boom. For about 3 years or so, that's why I brought up Taekwondo, because I took it for a while when I was in my 20s, and I loved it. It was great exercise, and it does give you a different sense in your body. And I remember when I first started, my teacher, sensei, said, oh, we're going to spar. He said, I want you to find he says, anytime we have sparring, I want you to find the highest belt in the room. And I said, what do you mean? He said, if there's a black belt in your class, go spar with them. And I said, well, yeah, but they would hurt me. He said, no, the ones, here's when you'll get hurt.
No.
It's the new,
You never want to
Not in
spar with the new
control.
guys. It's too erratic.
No,
It's-
except
yeah.
you don't want to spar with anyone at your level because you'll get hit all the time. But that was the one thing I learned from the discipline of going as I did for 3 years, is that you just get used to people taking swings at your head. And that's what I took away from it, is that in any street situation, most people, it's over very quickly, and most people aren't used to having somebody going to hit them in the face.
It's just about protecting your brain. It's you have to keep your hands up. That's the absolute. That's the number one rule. Like, I'm laughing because my coach is laughing right now, as if he's listening to this. But you have to keep your hands up.
And it's like odd. Is there weight classes? Like, at what point?
Absolutely, it's weight classes. I
So-
won't be any different than somebody within 5 pounds of me fighting.
But it's also speed. So at what point do you realize you just don't have the speed to continue? Like, that's got to be a fine line too.
You mean as in, like, how long should you be?
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably about 2 years retired. I am in better shape now than I've ever been, but with my age, I probably shouldn't be fighting.
Because of speed.
No, it's more my heart says yes and my brain says no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, well, you give up fighting. You know,
Like what?
when you give up fighting. When you
Yeah,
retire from the game. Angelina, what a pleasure to meet you.
Absolute
Did you have
pleasure,
fun
gentlemen.
here? This is fun.
I had a
little
great time. This is
environment.
great. Anyone that
You
makes
know,
me coffee, I'm happy. Yeah.
I noticed one that you lifted up your right arm. and
I
you-
saw you grimace.
Well, no,
Yeah.
because only because Angelina has a tattoo
really sweaty.
under her armpit, down her torso, down the right-hand side.
yeah,
Are you
my-
guys seeing this on Twitch? And reason I ask, because that's a very sensitive area.
It's a very sensitive area.
And having
My whole bum is done as well.
Yahoo?
My whole bum.
Yahoo! Your bum.
Why?
What's going on in your bum?
See, if we had the High Canada,
Are you
cover,
nude in that magazine?
it's printed.
No, is it?
If you go to highcanada.net.
Oh, I
think.
will, sister.
Why your bum? Is your fighting suit show your buttocks or something? Is this part of the?
No, my whole upper back was done by monks in Thailand. So every time that before I would fight, they would take me to the temple and I would be tattooed for protection and safety
Wow.
before I fought. And then I have a really wonderful tattoo artist that takes good care of me. He's one of my best friends.
So your bum is very sensitive too.
It's a very sensitive
Well,
bum.
that's why I wanted to ask you about that area of your body to get a tattoo. A lot of needles are going under your armpits.
Well, that was a really difficult tattoo because all of your lymph nodes are there. So
Yeah.
I got really just horrific flu-like symptoms. So it's really detoxes and you smell really terrible after too.
All right. Well, listen, I can't imagine you smelling anything but sincere. That's
Thank you, sir.
Angelina Blessed. Go to blessededibles.com. All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hope you enjoyed yourself. We enjoyed meeting you.
Absolutely.
You know, we have some friends in common. Our friends at Strain Print. Phil, come on over here and tell everyone a little story. While Fred tells everyone else about. Are you done?
I did
Copeland
Palma.
Cup. Hello.
Palma's down.
You did Palm. I think we're
Yeah.
good. Talked a little bit about Strain Print. Fizz.
Well, whether you're a fit athlete or someone who has sciatica, Strain Print can be your companion. Use cannabis better with the free Strain Print Companion app that will help you learn about how much more rewarding and beneficial your experience can be. You know, everyone basically treats cannabis differently. Their body treats it differently. So it's good to be able to have an app where you can easily track and journal your cannabis experience. So find that. You'll also get Strain Print points, and you'll get to hear from more advice and see what kind of strains may be good for you. Check it out on the Apple or Google Play Store. It's free and strainprint.ca.
Bravo, Phil.
Bravo. And Phil, what about Green Genie SEO? Why don't you tell us? GreenGenieSEO.com.
Well, if you're a business and you're not on Google page 1, forget about it.
Shut it
You know,
down.
life is not good unless you're on page 1 of Google.
Shut
Check out
it down.
Green Genie SEO. They will help you optimize your website and give you all kinds
All
of
right.
advice that will help you.
You're a good boy.
GreenGenieSEO.com.
GreenGenieSEO.com. You got yourself Angelina Blessed is she's here. She's going to hang around, I guess. I looked at your cover. I couldn't find the nudity, but I'll do some
Jess,
research after.
can you show them the picture?
I'll do some research after. So, just quickly, whether you're doing Muay Thai or any other martial arts, what do you you said you would? What would you do first? Would you punch Fred in the groin, the throat? Where do you punch Fred? What are you
Looking
punching?
at me, you probably want to punch me right in the face.
How tall are you? How tall are you?
I'm about 5'10".
Okay.
Ish.
I think you'd probably reach for me, and I'd probably knee you in the stomach.
Really?
What about the man's testicular area? Is that a point of contention in the Muay Thai world? Is that like a special blessed place?
I wouldn't. A special blessed place.
You know,
I don't think we need. That wouldn't even be necessary.
Do the monks say, Angelina, don't punch a groin because groins are the secret place of the world?
So the idea, like the stomach, solar plexus, it's to take your breath away,
It take
right?
your wind away. Yes.
Yeah.
That's job one.
Or to hit you in the spleen or hit you in the liver, and that could drop you as well.
Spleens and livers.
Yes, sir.
Delicious.
Delicious.
So
spleens.
there must be a lot of splattering when you elbow someone in the face. Like there's got to be some
There was
damage.
a bit with the elbow that I took. It left quite a dent in my face, absolutely, and I had an osteopath kind of have to pop the bone back out. But it kind of crumpled. So if I've lost a lot of weight, you can see where the dent was.
Really?
In the bone. Yeah.
He popped the bone back out in your face?
Yeah, it was really
Who
gross.
are you?
Right?
Who is she? How dare you come in here and be so fit and fascinating?